Hi everyone, my name is Vanessa Blacksland, owner of Dulce Divas, a licensed home bakery in Orange County, California. Today I'll be doing a tutorial for my local students who are able to pick up a cookie kit. And we will be going through the Sweet Design Shop Ice Cream Snowman. If you are not a local resident who is able to pick up a cookie kit and you're finding this video and you'd like to follow along and make your own cookies and icing, you can find the cutters at the Sweet Design Shop. We will be doing the Ice Cream Snowman. So this is kind of what it looks like. I'll show you guys the cutters. They're super cute. Oh, not that one. So we have the bottom, which is the cone, a scoop, another scoop, and then the head. So love them, super cute. The Sweet Design Shop is one of my favorite cookie cutter shops. They have the cutest designs, so different variety of sizes. Great shop. All right, so that's what we're gonna be going through today. Again, you guys all should have been able to pick up a kit, and this is what it's gonna look like. We'll go through that in just a minute. If at any time you guys need to pause, please do. There will be many times where I will ask you to pause as I go on. You'll either finish flooding your cookies, and we'll go through what that means in a little bit, or finish some details on them, and then have you guys move on. All right, so let's pull out those cookie kits, and let's see what's inside them. Everything you need will be in here. So the first thing that's in here that you'll see is the cookie kit instructions. So this is basically just saying how to store your box when you pick it up. Leave it at room temperature, and then when you pull it out and you're ready to start this class, you're gonna need your bags really well, and that's really important because some of the icing will separate. That's totally normal, but we wanna make sure that it's remixed before we get started. And so what you would do is, I'll grab a bag. You're gonna grab your bag like this, and you're just going to knead it. So you can kind of see mine has done that. So I'm going to knead until it's nice and remixed, okay? So you have your instructions. The next thing that you'll pull out in there is a practice sheet, and we'll be doing that next. So go ahead and just place that in front of you, because that will be the first thing we're gonna do. Then you'll have a sheet that has a picture for you to reference of what we're gonna be doing today. You guys can see, isn't he so cute? And then also some of my recipes for my royal icing and for my cookies, okay? What else is next? Okay, then in there you should also have 2 things of sprinkles, so like a little mix, and then also some of these black beads that we'll be using for our snowman's buttons and his eyes. You will have your cookies. You should have 4, as well as your icings. So let's talk about icings really quick. We're gonna be using 3 different consistency icings today. We'll be using an outline consistency, which is a medium thickness. We'll be using that to outline our cookies, and that's gonna act as a dam for our flood. So flood, what is flood? So flood is the same thing as outline, except it has more water. So it's gonna be looser, it comes out faster, and it's not as easy to control. And this is what we're gonna fill our cookies in with, flood. The next consistency we'll be using is outline consistency. Oh, sorry, not outline, detail consistency. So detail consistency is very thick. It's what comes out of the mixer. Right when you're done, it's gonna keep that peak. If you were to run a spoon through your icing, as soon as it comes out of the mixer, that is detail. And we use detail when we want our icing to really hold our shape. So for things like flowers or ruffles, you're gonna use detail. So you can see there's a lot of air in there, meaning that it's not moving, okay? So that's detail, and we'll be using that today as well. Oh, last thing you should have in there is an edible marker, and we'll be using this to mark our cookies, probably just a little bit, and it's just food coloring dye in there, so it should have a little one like that as well. Okay, all right, so if at any time during your class, when you do it on your time, feel free to message me on social media or to send me an email at dulcedivassocal@gmail.com if you have any questions about any of the techniques that we're doing, or any questions about the cookies, or where to get anything that I've shown during class. Again, please, any questions, send them my way. I want to help you make this class the best class as possible and help you make beautiful cookies. So All right, let's get to our cookies. Go ahead and pull out that practice sheet and let's get going. All right, you guys, so everyone should have pulled up their practice sheet. What I'm gonna have you guys do is pull out your white outline. Again, you guys will have 3 floods. They will look like this. Make sure you guys are keeping track of where your floods are, where your outline consistency bags are, because the worst thing is to grab a flood bag when you need an outline and it just goes all over your cookies. So make sure you're keeping track of those, and then you should have 3 coordinating outline. And remember, the outlines are the ones that are thicker. Okay. So the first thing we're gonna do is we're gonna open our bag. Oh, and just a quick note is some other things that you might need for the class are a pair of scissors and maybe some napkins, because we want to keep our piping bag tips clean, as well as our scribes. Another thing you guys should have received in your bags is a scribe from me. So this is a scribe. We use it as kind of like a boo-boo stick, and to also help even out our icings. Those ones cookiers like to make just to, I don't know, be fancy and fun. So you guys should have all received one of those in there as well. Okay, to open our bags, what we're gonna do is, if you guys see on the icing bag, there are seams on both sides. We are going to flatten those together. And then I'm just gonna take off just a little bit. Remember, we can always go bigger, but we cannot go smaller. So I'm just gonna take a little bit, give it a little sample. All right, and I like that. So it should be about that thick. All right, so go ahead if you need to, go ahead and pause and open up your icing bag. Why don't I have you guys go ahead and open up your white? And we'll get going. All right. Okay, so the first thing we are going to work on is how to hold your icing bag. So I have my icing bag here. I'm gonna hold it between my thumb and my middle finger and wrap the rest of my fingers around my bag. We wanna have our seams up. Okay, fingers wrapped around. Some people like to hold their wrist when they are piping for extra control. It's completely up to you and what you're comfortable with. I don't do that. Sometimes I'll do it, but for the most part I don't, but you can if you'd like. Okay, let's start with lines. So the first thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna put my tip down. As soon as I put my tip down, I'm going to give pressure and I'm going to lift. Okay, and I'm just gonna keep laying that line down until I reach my end point. As you guys can see, I'll try to stop for a minute. You can see that I have my bag raised just a little bit. When I anticipate my end point, I'm going to release and put my tip down. I'll do that one more time. So I have my tip down. I'm giving pressure. As soon as I give pressure, I lift up and I'm just laying it down. I have my bag raised, so I'm not dragging it across the line. I'm squeezing and lifting. Anticipate my end point, release, and put down. So what happens, let's say I do drag it, what happens? I'm gonna get a yucky, jagged line. I want a nice, smooth line. Okay, we don't want that, no, no, no. We want nice, give pressure, lift up, and just lay it down. So I'm almost looking ahead, kind of anticipating where I'm going. Again, releasing and laying down. All right, so go ahead and pause and you guys try and finish those lines. The next one we're gonna do is the wave. So the wave, same thing. I'm going to put my tip down, give pressure, and lift up, and I'm laying. And all I'm doing as I come around those curves is I'm moving my wrist up and down. And you guys can see I have my tip in the air. I'm laying it down. I'm looking, almost looking ahead of where I'm going and anticipating those curves. and I'm just moving my wrist as I'm giving consistent, constant pressure. That's really important as well. Okay, when I'm done, I'm gonna put it back down. Okay, your turn, go ahead and try that. Pause if you need to, and I'm gonna keep going. All right, the next one we have next one we have is our zigzag. So as you guys can see, we have points where these lines come together. At each point, we're going to put our tip down and then come back up and start again. Tip down, give pressure, come down at my point, and start back up. This is going to give me those nice, crisp points, nice crisp edges on my cookies as I'm outlining and flooding. Up and down, come back up, down, come back up. And I'm giving that constant pressure the whole time. All right, you go ahead and try. Also, if you guys want to practice again more on this, I got this from 6bcreations.com. Again, that is another licensed home bakery here in Southern California, and she has some great online digital downloads that you can buy, and one of them is the practice sheets. Okay, next we're going to practice our circle. So just a heads up, if you don't get the circle, don't worry about it. Circle is the hardest shape to get. To be honest, I still struggle with it. So don't get discouraged if your circles don't come out perfect the first time. We'll get them. Okay, so same thing. I'm going to put my tip down, give pressure. I'm going to lay it down, and then I'm going to keep going around. For circles, my tip does get pretty high, and I'm just going to go around. And I'm giving that constant pressure because if I didn't, what would happen is that icing would break as I'm going around. And I'm just going to keep going and going until I get back around, and that's my circle. So go ahead and try those circles. We do have, we're doing a snowman, so we're gonna have kind of some circle-ish parts. So I'll have you guys go ahead and finish that. Pause if you need to. And then we're gonna be doing the heart. So the heart, you can see, incorporates some of the things we've already been working on. So it has some curves, it has some points where our lines come together. And so we're going to be not only doing the curve, but when we get to that point, we're gonna put our tip down, come up, and start again. Here we go. Tip down. Oops. Oh no, what am I gonna do? So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take that scribe that I had, and mine's a little messed up because I was working on some stuff earlier, but I'm just gonna take that and I'm gonna swipe it away. And that's what I would do on my cookies as well. And then I can go and start back. So I'm gonna put that tip down, give pressure, lift up, lay it down, and I'm gonna come around, just moving my wrist. I'm anticipating that point down there, so I'm going to bring it down and back up. All right, so I'll have you guys go and try. When you are done with that, you guys can go ahead and throw your sheet away. You can try some of the icing, it's up to you. And then go ahead and pull out your cookies. Okay, so you guys should have your bag of cookies. Go ahead and open them and pull those out. We're gonna put them together for you real quick so you guys can get an idea of what we're gonna be doing. So first we have our cone, our first scoop of our cute little snowman, second scoop, and then we have his head with the cherry on top, and that will be his face. He'll have a little frosting drip that we'll do with some sprinkles on it, his buttons, and then his cone. All right, the first cookie I'm gonna have you guys pull up is the head. So let's go ahead and put the rest of our cookies aside. Can we see that? Okay, so go ahead and get your edible marker. It's this little thing. Okay, and if you guys can visualize, we have our head and we have the cherry top right over here. So what I'm gonna do is I'm just going to slightly mark off where my circle would continue through here. So I'm just gonna do a little something like that, a little dot. So I can see this is my head and then there's the cherry on top. So what you're gonna need for this first cookie is your white outline. Remember, this is the thicker one, the one that we were practicing on, right? And we're gonna go ahead and outline our cookie. So here we go. Tip down. Oops. And you guys can go as fast or as slow as you're comfortable with. Remember, if you mess up on that outline or you don't like it, you can take that scribe and use it to wipe away any mistakes you have and start over. Okay, so I have my cookie outlined. I'm going to take my flood, and mine's already opened, but you're gonna do the same thing. Go ahead and put your seams down on your bag and you're gonna cut off just a little bit. You're gonna cut off a little bit more than you did your outline because we want it to come out easily, but we don't want it so big that it's gushing out. So I'm going to put my tip down and I'm going to start squeezing. You guys will see, oops, that this is thinner than our flood. And the goal of flooding is you want it to get it as close to that outline as possible, but without flooding over because it will flood over. But the closer you get it, the nicer kind of puff you'll get. You'll see when you guys see those beautiful looking cookies that have that nice puff, it's because they've gotten, well, one, they have a good consistency flood, and second, they've gotten nice and close to that edge. Okay, and then now I'm gonna go through the whole thing. So you can see flood should really come together when you're filling in your cookie. If it doesn't, then no worries. We're gonna use that scribe to fill in any holes that we missed and also to even out any icing. Okay. So again, I'm gonna take that scribe. I'm going to fill in any areas that I missed, even out my icing. Oops. Take that napkin and wipe off my scribe. Okay. If for some reason your icing was a little too thick and it's not evening out, which isn't a bad thing, you would grab your cookie with your scribe and then give it a good shake. And you're gonna shake, shake, shake until all the icing evens out. Okay. If you see any dark spots in your cookies, don't freak out. There's nothing in your cookies. You just have some air bubbles in there and we wanna pop those. So let me see. Okay. So go ahead and look for any air bubbles, pop those with your scribe, and then we'll get moving on. Okay. Oh, I forgot our eyes. So for this one, our little guy, he does have some eyes. So I'm gonna take my black beads, I'm just gonna take 2 of them, and we're gonna put those eyes in. Again, if you need a picture to reference, remember you do have your sheet that has the picture on them, and you can kind of gauge where the eyes should go. Remember, about right here, you guys can see a little bit where this edge comes out a little bit. That's where our frosting drip is gonna be, so make sure the eyes are below that. So I'm just gonna put one right there, and then my other one maybe over here. Okay, I'll have you guys do that. And then we're gonna put him aside. He's done for now. And then we're gonna go ahead and pull up our, let me see. We're gonna do our cone. Okay, So now that you guys have kind of done the basic outline and flood, hopefully the rest will come a little faster for you. So the next one we're gonna do is the ice cream cone. You're gonna need your browns. So I have my brown outline. And again, I'm just gonna knead it, make sure that everything is mixed in there. Especially if you didn't do your kit right away, make sure that you knead your bag and remix very well. Okay. All right. And again, if you're still on the snowman head, you can pause and then press play when you're ready to go again. One other thing, if you guys have a fan, like a little small individual fan in your home, a lot of times it's great to dry your cookies in front of a fan for two reasons. One, it helps it keeps that shine that we have right now when you first flood it. Second, it helps it to dry faster so that you can move on to the next layer of design. So it just helps that icing to crust over faster so that you can keep going. So here we go, I'm just outlining my snow cone. Okay, great. Then I'm gonna go in with my brown flood. Again, I'm going to knead it, make sure everything is mixed up. I can see a little bit of darker spots over here, so I'm gonna make sure I get those. Okay, and then I'm gonna open it up. Okay, so same thing that we did before. Get close to that edge. Give consistent pressure, not squeezing too hard because I don't want it to all come out at the same time and make a mess on me, but just consistent light pressure. And as you keep doing this, you'll get the feel for all the different consistency of icings. I'm just gonna fill everything in. All right. And I'm gonna take my scribe. I'm gonna fill in any spots that I missed. And I'm gonna poke those air bubbles again. So again, we're gonna put that to the side, let that dry, let that crust over, and we're gonna pull up our other two cookies. So for these cookies, oops, you're gonna do the same thing. We're gonna outline and we're gonna flood. Okay, and I think I forgot to mention, but today we're using tipless bags. So again, the Sweet Design Shop has tipless bags. A lot of different shops have really good tipless bags. Let's see, Grunderfully Delicious here in Orange County has some really great bags. I'm trying to think where else. And then, I mean, you can also get them on places like Amazon as well. But basically we're using tipless bags because it helps just less mess, especially when you're making cookies. It can already be super messy, so having one less thing to wash is great for me. So if you were going to use a tip or you wanted to use a tip for outline, typically you would use a number 2 tip. And you can get tips again from cake stores, Michael's, Joann's, any of your craft stores or cake stores. Okay, so let's keep going. And then we're gonna flood this. Here we go. And let's say you aren't comfortable getting all the way up on that line and you're coming a little bit out here. That's okay. We're gonna take that scribe and we'll fill in the holes. Or if you're not getting it exactly close to each other, so like when you're outlining, your flood isn't combining because it's not close enough, again, we're just gonna take that scribe and fill in the holes. So say maybe your cookie comes out more like this. You're gonna take your scribe and again, pull from other areas that have more icing, and we are just going to fill in. Okay, so my scribe's getting a little more icing on it than I'd like, so I'm gonna go ahead and clean that and keep going. Again, I'm filling in any spots that I see. Okay, so now it's filled in, but it's looking still a little bit uneven for me. So I'm gonna stab that cookie, and again, I'm going to shake, shake, shake until it starts to even out. All right, looks good. Again, go through, look for any air bubbles, and we're gonna pop those. Again, air bubbles are kind of like, you'll see like slightly some dark spots here and there. Again, those aren't like little flakes or anything in your icing, those are air bubbles, and we wanna get them. And the reason for that is because the air bubbles just cause your cookie to have a weaker structure, and sometimes it can cause things like craters, and we don't want those. Okay. All right, so go ahead and put your 2 little buttons on there. Again, those are the black beads we're gonna use, and I'm just gonna drop them a little bit in the middle, a little bit apart from each other. All right, and we're gonna go ahead and put this little part away as well. Put that guy crust over and pull up our last one. So for this last one, you're gonna do exactly what we've been doing for the other 3 cookies. We're gonna outline, flood, and then add our little black beads for our buttons. Let's go ahead and do that. Okay, I'm gonna clean up my tip. So sometimes if we haven't been using an icing bag for a while, what can happen is that the icing will dry up a little bit. That's completely normal. Royal icing, it doesn't dry fully very fast, but it does crust over very fast. So again, you just take your napkin and just kind of clean it off. All right. Let's see. Oh, you know what? I think that's my flood. Yeah. Oops, I almost made that mistake. I told you guys not to make, right? That's why I like to squeeze it out a little bit at first. Make sure I have the right one. Make sure it's just coming out the way that I like it to. So let's flood our last cookie before we move on to details. So after we flood this cookie, what I'll have you guys do is go ahead and take a little 5 to 10 minute break. What that is going to do is it is going to allow our other cookies, the head and the cone, to dry a little bit more and get a nice crust on them on the top. So that way when we go in to do our details, the icing isn't moving, we're not causing any dents in it, and it's just ready for that next layer of detail. Okay, so as you guys can see, as I come around these curves, my tip is up and I'm laying it down and coming back down. Coming back up, my tip is off of the cookie and coming back down. Okay, oops. You guys see that? Okay. All right, then I'm gonna go in, I'm gonna flood my last cookie. So again, the only difference between outline consistency and flood and detail is the amount of water that you add after you're done mixing in the mixer. So for my outline, I'm going to add just a little bit of water so that it's almost like a soft toothpaste consistency. And again, when you're adding your water, you're just doing it literally like just a few drops at a time, maybe a teaspoon at a time, until it is the texture that you want it. And then flood, again, has much more water. But again, you're just adding a little bit at a time until you get this runny, almost runny consistency. When we talk about flood, we talk about it in seconds. So when you hear someone say like, oh, I use like a 5-second consistency or whatever, what they're talking about is how many seconds it takes if you were to take a scribe or a spoon or whatever and run it through your icing. How many seconds does it take for it to come back together? So for example, if I run it through and I count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, how many seconds did it take for it to come back together? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So this is probably about a 5 to 7, and that's pretty good for a flood. Again, I'm gonna pop any air bubbles, and don't forget our buttons. Come on, okay. So I'm just gonna drop it there. Another one right here. Oh, he's already looking super cute. All right, so great job so far, you guys. I hope you guys are doing well with your cookies. Again, if you have any questions about anything, you can always email me or message me on Instagram or Facebook. So for now, we're gonna put all of our cookies aside. Go ahead and put that fan on them if you have it. If not, that's fine. We're gonna go ahead and take a little bit of a break, let those crust over a little bit more, and then we will come back and we're going to finish up the detail on our cone and on our snowman head. All right, great job, guys. All right, guys, welcome back. So let's go ahead and finish up the details on our snowman and get him all dressed up. So the first cookie I'm gonna have you guys pull up is the snowman head, and we are gonna get that frosting drip going. So the first thing you're gonna do is you're gonna pull out your pink outline. Again, it's the thicker one. We're gonna go ahead and open that up. And we are gonna go on top of our already outlined white. All right. So I'm gonna start from the top of his head. I'm gonna come around. And the great thing about this drip is it doesn't have to look perfect. It's very forgiving because again, we want it to look like a drip. And I'm gonna come down and then I'm gonna do kind of like those waves we did when we practice. Some drips up and down. Some I might make longer than others. And I'm just gonna do that all the way across. And then I'm gonna come back up to the top, okay? So I'll have you guys go ahead and do that. When you're ready, you'll go ahead and pull out your flood, your pink flood. Again, if you're still working on that outline, go ahead and pause and then continue when you're ready. All right, I'm gonna go ahead and open that flood. I'm also gonna get my sprinkles ready. So I have those right here. Gonna have those on deck. And we're gonna keep flooding. So I'm gonna flood on top. Be careful not to press too hard with the tip of your icing bag because that icing down there is still, not wet, but it's still drying. And when we're doing our flood for our pink, when you guys get to those edges or the sides, I'll show you. Make sure to be very careful not to go over because it's kind of at a slant, so I'm not gonna go right up against it. I'll use my scribe to fill those in. All right. Okay, I'm gonna take my scribe, I'm gonna fill in any holes. Again, be very careful with your scribe because it will go right through the white icing underneath. All right, gonna give my cookie just a little bit of a shake, help even things out. Okay. And we're gonna take those sprinkles, and you can either take a bunch and go ahead and sprinkle it over, or you can be a little bit more strategic and place them where you want, which is what I'm gonna kind of do. So I'm gonna put, I don't know, maybe put a candy cane there. Maybe another one over here. Oops. And I'm just gonna keep placing my sprinkles down where I want them. Let's see, oh, I like this purple. Put that purple one down, maybe some green. And I'm gonna keep going. Got some blues in here. Perfect, get some orange. Some of these little balls are cute. Okay, so you can put as little or as much of the sprinkles as you want. I like this one too. Where could I put this? Oh, I wish I would have put that there. That's okay. Maybe I'll put him over there. Oops. Okay. And maybe just a few more, and then I'm gonna leave him alone. I don't wanna overdo it with the sprinkles. Okay, all right. So there we go. There is our frosting drip with our sprinkles on there. Go ahead and put the rest of my sprinkles away. Next, I'm gonna have you guys pull out your orange. So this is our orange detail. It's very thick, and this is what we're gonna do the nose with. So I'm gonna go ahead and open that up. Again, probably just about that much. You could go thicker. We're using this for the nose. So I'm actually going, I want the lines on my nose to be a little bit thicker. So I'm gonna open it up just a little bit. Okay. All right. So I'm gonna practice my nose. For the nose, we're going to do kind of a nose going up a little bit at a slant, and we're just gonna do lines back and forth, gradually getting smaller. So I'm gonna start here, and oops, I'm not catching on. And we're just gonna go back and forth until that nose gets smaller. All right, here I go. So maybe we'll start over here. All right, there's his little nose. So cute. All right, I'm gonna go ahead and put that down. The next thing, you're gonna grab your pink outline again, and we're gonna do his little cheeks. Okay, I'm gonna put them up just for a second so I can show you guys how to do cheeks. So if you guys look at the picture of what we're doing, again, you guys should have a sheet for reference. You can see that his cheeks look like two little hearts, and I'll show you guys how to do hearts. So for hearts, all you're gonna do is put your tip down. You're going to give pressure and let it build up in a ball like that, okay? There's a second step. We're going to build up like a ball, let it get as big as you would like, and then I'm going to drag down diagonally. That's one half of my heart, and then I'm gonna do the other side. So I'm going to build up, drag diagonally to the other side. I'll show you guys that one more time. Give pressure, let the ball build up, drag diagonal, do the other side, build up, drag diagonal. And when I start dragging, I'm not releasing pressure or releasing pressure fully on my icing bag. I'm just kind of letting go of my grip just a little bit. So that's coming out very slow when I'm dragging. Okay, all right, let's do his little cheeks. I'm gonna put him up here. I think it's really cute by his eyes. One, 2, and one over here. 1, 2. All right, there he is, cute face. Okay, so we're gonna go ahead and we're gonna put this one aside. We'll come back to him to finish his, the cherry on top in just a sec. Let's see, let's move this one. And we're going to pull up that cone at the bottom and finish the detail on that. So pull up your cone, your brown cone, and then also go ahead and grab your brown outline. Go ahead and clean off the tip if it's dried off. You can get either your scribe and poke it in there just a little bit to open it up, or you can get a napkin, oops, and clean it off as well. Okay, I'm gonna give it a little test. All right, here we go. So the first thing we are going to do is we're just gonna outline this little top lip part. I'm gonna start here, oops, come down, and I'm gonna go, oops, across. And up. And then I'm gonna outline the top as well. Okay. All right. So there is my cone, and then we're gonna do a little cross pattern on it as well. So for the first one, I'm just gonna do 2 lines going down and then 2 lines going the other direction. So I'm gonna start here, make just a little curve coming down. Okay. And then I'm gonna move over just a bit. I'm gonna do it again. Okay. And then I'm gonna go the opposite direction. Here we go. Right, and again. All right, so there is my snow cone. And one other thing, I think, oops, you know what? I messed up, but that's okay. We're gonna keep going. So if you guys haven't yet, I'm gonna have you guys outline your ice cream cone first. This looks so much better with that detail. So don't be like me. Outline it first and then go in with your cross design. Okay? All right, so that is the bottom of my cone. So I'm going to have you guys pull back your head and we're going to finish off our, hopefully that's, yeah, that looks like it's crusted over. If yours hasn't, go ahead and pause and wait a little bit until it looks like it's a little drier, and then you guys can come back. And again, if you have that fan, go ahead and put your cookies in front of your fan while you're in between. Okay, so the last part, you're gonna pull out your red, and we're gonna open that up. Okay, for the red, we do wanna open it up quite a little bit because we need kind of a big circle there. So I'm probably gonna cut it about there. You guys can see, I don't know if you guys can tell, but the hole is pretty big, okay? So for our cherry, you're gonna do kind of the same thing we did with our heart. We're going to put our tip down and just give pressure, pressure, pressure until that cherry is the size that you want, okay? Pretty easy. So I would encourage you guys to practice. If you have a piece of wax paper underneath or a napkin or whatever you're using underneath, go ahead and practice on that. Again, I'm just giving pressure until it builds up to the size that I want. All right, here we go. And I might kind of go around. I'm still giving pressure. There we go. That's my cherry. Then we are going to take our brown flood and we are just going to do the little stem. So I'm just going to do a line going straight and then I'm going to curve it down to the cherry. All right, and that's him. So let's put him together, see what he looks like. So my head is going to be up here, my body. Oops, let's make those go away. Okay, the next part. I know you guys don't have any edible glitter, but if you had any edible glitter, like the red or the translucent one, it would look really cute if you sprayed that on top of the cherry. So, all right, so here you guys go. You guys are all done. Great job. This is our final product, our ice cream snowman from the Sweet Design Shop. All right, thank you guys so much for joining me. If you have any questions, again, feel free to message me on Facebook or Instagram, or you can email me as well. All right, thanks guys, take care.